How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to Muv-Luv Monday, where we learned a really interesting fact. Yuuya is from Alabama. Sweet home Alabama, to be specific. We've got a bit of an issue here with, yeah, things aren't looking so hot. Or, it depends on your taste, I suppose, but no, we're not. Okay, the dumb jokes are done. Okay, it's a very serious situation, where it's like, I kind of said it before, but the feeling after last episode is kind of this idea that the universe just hates people, especially, you know, an alternative. It's just no one can be happy, right? Like, not really. Like, there's joy, but it's like every time there's happiness, it's like he's got to get that jab right to the crushing soul, you know? No one gets out alive, and those who do survive wish they didn't. It's just a mess. So, the long story and short of it is that Yuuya is the illegitimate son of, unknowing illegitimate son of Yui's father. And after it all hit, it kind of like, it's like there were signs, there were legitimate signs the whole time, but no, of course not. Like, it's really easy to brush those away. So it's like, now what do we do, right? Like, again, I kind of got into this whole thing where I was just like, oh, like, it's gonna be like a choice thing where you're gonna choose if you want to go down the Yui route or the Kriska route. And then Yui died, and I was like, oh, what do I? Of course, it's alternative. Like, it's a set path. There aren't gonna be any choices. And the Yui came back, and I was like, oh, well, there we go. And I was like, I kind of in my heart already been like, well, I don't know if I get to choose any path, if there is even a path that goes down, if not, in not a, oh, everyone's just gonna die kind of path. But I was like, oh, well, maybe it'll be like dynamic again, and maybe we'll see like Yuya have to like make a choice, even if it's not in my hands. Like, maybe there will be a hard choice to be made. But no, now we just have pain. We just have pain. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So anyway, let's just get started and, you know, just recognize that life sucks. There's really no other way to put it. Life is pain, and I'm here for it. So we're getting called in for a meeting. I think this is gonna be the first time Yui's gonna be in front of Yuuya since her realization and the unveiling. Which, I mean, frankly, if you're gonna find out, I mean, sooner better than later. Like, it's unfortunate, and it's unfortunate she kind of got her feelings moved forward so far before things kind of got revealed. But I mean, they could have done something, you know, irreversible. Like, thank goodness they didn't even get to the Luke and Leia, like, accidental makeout session. Thankfully. But it's still gonna be really rough. Especially because, like, it's not even like, oh, it sucks that you're accidentally related to a guy that you've had a crush on for a while. It's like, oh, if your dad knew and purposely abandoned him, it kind of shakes everything you assumed you knew about your own father to your core. And then if you didn't know, it's the most horrific tragedy. And then the other thing too is, like, what do you even do with this information? Because, like, one of the reasons why they kept it under wraps is because the idea of a descendant of the royal, like, of the royal guard family line is an American and is in the military in America. Like, that makes a horrific situation for Japan, because, like, normally the Japanese, like, mentality of the shogunate imperial line and imperial system right now would be he has to be recognized and kind of brought into the fold, because legitimate or no, like, he's got a responsibility to the nation. But then on the other hand, America's got a really solid claim on the guy. In fact, they remember that agent who, like, knew who his mother was? That's probably a whole thing there, because they might have an idea, at least some people might have an idea of his tie to Japan, and they might plan to use that eventually, which is why he was saying, like, oh, I know you're a good asset for the Americans. You'd never work for anybody else. It's like kind of planting a seed of a potential reveal that he might have to actually choose between. Maybe that's the choice of this game. Maybe it's not between Yui and Kriska. Maybe it's between America and Japan, which is just a nightmare too. Anyway, let's jump into it. No more rambling. I'll let the disaster happen. I don't need to try and prelude it with my own predictions right now. All right, Argus test flight, assemble briefing room C18. 108 at once, I say again. What's going on? Well,
高村注意じゃねえの？
おや、皆さんお揃いで。
注意、具合はどうですか？
oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
ありがとう。私は大丈夫だ。
So she took some personal time, it sounds like, to try and absorb the shock. Don't overdo things, they're still recovering, you hear? Oh, if only you knew. Oh, if only you knew. Oh, she is still recovering. Hmm?
さあ、急いでください。大事な要件がありますからね。
Phase 3, that's what this is about.
大事な要件？
Could it be? Okay, double time, everyone, let's go!
貴様らに集まってもらったのは、開発スケジュールについての重要伝達を行うためだ。
We're going from light speed to ludicrous speed. I knew it! This is about my report. You did bring it up to Heinemann.
本件に関しては、ハイネマンさんより直接ご説明いただく。では、よろしくお願いします。
I keep omitting an actual, like, syllable from his name, Heinemann. I keep saying Heinemann, which honestly might be how it would kind of be said locally in America. Like, I'm pretty sure I've met people with that last name who said Heinemann, but Heinemann is also probably the more proper, and frankly, it's kind of up to you as the name holder to dictate how it's pronounced.
皆さん、XFJ 計画も終盤に差し掛かり、いよいよ94セカンドも仕上げに入る時期に来ています。
Interesting.
現在はご存知の通り、ソ連との試験中ですが、これさえ終わってしまえば、あとは特に何があるわけでもありません。
God, that would be really bittersweet, though. Be like, I've fallen in love with this program myself, and I'm an observer, you know, kind of self-inserting into the shoes of Yuuya. If you think about his passion for this program, when it's over, what does that even mean for him? Is he just going to go back to the United States? Is he going to stay on with the UN? Will he get a choice? And if he gets to choose, what would he choose at this point? I feel like he really likes his squad, but it also wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for this squad to keep cohesion unless there was another pilot program to, like, jump into.
しかし、ここに来て、その計画に若干修正を加えようかと。そのきっかけは、一通の上申書とそれに添付されていた詳細な提案書でした。実に細かな改修提案でした。いや、素晴らしい。
Behind closed doors, he made it sound like it was like, okay, but it was like hinting at what they already had planned to implement. Or, so are they, is he just being really nice, or is this a way to mask it's like a pretext to this idea that they'd already planned to do phase 3 implementation from a while ago, but now the narrative they're going to spin is that it's like the product, it's a brainchild product of their premier test pilot, because that politically would make more sense. Heck yeah.
そこで我が社といたしましては、もう少し94セカンドに手を入れてみようかと思ったわけなのです。
やったな、ゆうや。
ですが、この改修は提案書に基づくものではありません。
Oh. So, you had great ideas. We're not using those. Wait, what?
では、高村注意。お願いできるかな?
Oh man. I kind of feel bad about that, but it's okay.
はい。
Here we go. Huh? This is...
これって、いや、でも。
What? Are you crapping me? Like what?
え、何？どうしたの？
Even Teresa's like I thought if she was outraged, she'd be screaming, but no, she's just like, what?
ブラックウィドウ2。
YF23 Black Widow 2? What?
だよな、どう見ても。
はいはい。皆さんどうしましたか？話を続けますよ。
Black Widow 2. I'm trying to remember what the Black Widow is. It's not coming to mind. I'm sorry. Like, another thing too, like, you gotta understand, like, I'm such a huge fan of Muv-Luv. You'd think I'd have a better grasp of the TSS because I genuinely love them, like, to probably a concerning level. In fact, I still need to, like, I was planning the patron cast for this month. My plan is to do the normal patron cast, but to like actually unpack and start working on my model TSF that I got. I was planning on doing that before now. Like if I hadn't gotten sick, I was gonna try and release it on Valentine's Day, but that didn't happen. I gotta see if I can squeeze it into a schedule anytime now, because we're at the end of the month. Like it's over now. Like we're in March, so. I apologize for missing February, but I feel like having gotten so sick where I couldn't even post normal videos, people are forgiving me for that. But we got that coming up. I love the TSS, but the biggest reason why I don't know much about them is because, frankly, I don't dare touch the wiki. Like, the wiki is such a treacherous place for spoilers. I think they try to make it friendly for spoilers, but it's so easy to accidentally read something, and I don't want to risk it. And so I am quite content to just not even touch the webpage, which means I have no idea what they're talking about here, even though, like, genuinely, if I weren't concerned about spoiling myself, I probably know every TSF, or at least have a pretty solid idea about every single one, because, like, the designs are just fantastic. That's the Black Widow too, no two ways about it. The Phantom of the Stealth Drive TSF that lost to the YF-22 Raptor during the Advanced Tactical Surface Fighter program. Okay, so it was a competitive take for the 22 Raptor.
そもそもこの最終仕様、計画の初期段階で私が日本側に提案し準備してきたものです。
Okay.
これが公表されていなかった理由は、スケジュールや予算の関係上、XFJ 計画がこの段階まで到達できるかどうかが疑問視されていたから。
So he's going over the politics of like, hey, we were planning on incorporating some designs here, but we were worried it wasn't going to get approval because it might have been seeming too ambitious to get the program off the ground.
つまりここに来て、この最終仕様の実装が決定したのはあなた方のおかげなのです。あなた方の日々の努力が遅延していたスケジュールを巻き返し、予想以上の開発成果を上げ、その結果が94セカンドフェーズ3に結実したのです。
Okay, the Shiranui Second Phase 3. He's like, oh man, Yuuya, be happy they're doing something.
94セカンドフェーズ2は、原型機を可能な限り安価に回収する点において、日本とアメリカに非常に有益な結果を残しました。その成果は、我がボーニングも帝国軍も高く評価しています。ですが、ここに来て、図らずもその限界が見えた形になってしまいましたね。
Okay, so they're taking the approach that like they're reaching the limits of the Phase 2, and it's clear that it's still not quite as competitive as they might need it to be, and so they're going to like take this leap. I mean, it is terrifying. The Blackwood is pretty cool.
その通り。戦術機を知り尽くした私から見れば、先日の試験結果はパイロットの技量以上のものが影響しています。かたや限られた予算内でギリギリの差し引きをした機体。かたや国家予算を潤沢に投入した超ハイスペックモデル。
Okay. So is he calling our program the shoestring budget one? Because I felt like we had some pretty strong leeway, but maybe that's not actually how it is.
その意味で、94セカンドは仮に負けたとしても、非常に優秀なコストパフォーマンスを実証しています。
Okay.
ですが、日本帝国とソビエトが設計の要求仕様も運用前提も異なる機体を同じ土俵で比較し、その優劣で評価をするというなら、こちらにも考えがある。
Okay.
ボーニングは、そのような屈辱を良しとはしませんのでね。高村中尉と私で、ブリッジス少尉の追加回収要望を詳細に検証した結果、最終仕様の想定性能とほぼ
Okay. So there he's marrying the idea. He's saying, like, we looked at what Bridges said, and while it's not exactly what we think is best for the Shiranui Second, it's not too far off of what we'd already planned for it, and we've decided that with the prompting of the fact that he's thinking along these same lines, that's going to be our excuse to move forward.
これには私自身驚きました。いや、嬉しかったとも言えますね。
Yeah, I bet you were. Yeah, because you gotta remember, Heinemann, at his core, is just a mech nerd. If I bet you if we saw Heinemann in, like, the extra universe, he would be an engineer who would be a Gunpla, like, Gundam enthusiast. He would be living every second outside of, like, his actual job, probably working for an airliner company, building little model mechs and playing video games. Like, he clearly has an obsession with giant machines, and he's one of the few people whom the alternative universe was like the best universe for him. Oh, yeah.
どうぞ。
それ、ステルス機ってことでいいんですよね。
その通りです。ご覧の通り、かつて私が手掛けた YF23 の影響下にあることは否定しません。
I like that idea though. Like, the concept being, yeah, like, it's kind of like a marriage of the philosophy of, like, oh, wait a minute. That actually makes a lot of sense if you think about it, because if you have the Shiranui Second, where you can take current TSFs and upgrade them to be more efficient on the battlefield, that's great. But then you can upgrade them even more and make them anti-TSF TSFs without having to build a whole new fleet. That's actually very clever for those who are preparing for Alternative 5, because the idea would then be we can have, like, state-of-the-art TSFs for fighting beta, and then with a few retrofits, we suddenly have a fleet of anti-TSF TSFs, which is perfect for the post-beta war. And so that could be the selling point they can pitch after all this is over. Even if they are outplayed by the Berkut, they might be able to pitch, hey, but the Berkut is a fantastic close-range TSF, but it is not something that's going to be easily upgraded to anti-TSF combat capability, which is going to be a factor for those of you cheering for Alternative 5, which ironically could make it a good selling point for both the 4 and 5 audiences. Ooh, that's kind of cool. What? Heinemann worked on the Black Widow too? Come on, Yuuya. It's pretty clear he's got his fingers in every pie.
とはいえ、94セカンドフェーズ3の機体形状はステルス性能そのものより空力制御と近接格闘戦の要求から導き出されたものです。
Okay, so they want to make it stealthier, but it might not be on par with the F-22, which is kind of designed to be able to have a super stealth capability. They made it pretty clear when we saw, like, clips from Leon during the Crisis that they have a mode where they expend their fuel and probably use their jets in a modified way that makes them even harder to detect by sacrificing some of their, like, maximum capability. But having that the adaptability is very cool. Shiranui Second probably won't be that adaptive. It's like, we're primarily a combat TSF, but if we make these tweaks, we can also have, like, radar scattering and obscuring tactical capabilities. Makes sense. The two main reasons for the Raptor beat out the Black Widow 2, an excessive emphasis on close quarters combat and production costs. With the U.S. military transitioning to a G-bomb-based operational doctrine, the YF-23's close quarters capabilities were deemed superfluous, along with its excessive performance. It's been 10 years, but word is that no TSF has ever come close to touching the Black Widow 2 in terms of raw specifications. Lieutenant Takamura's Takuma Kazuchi would probably give it a run for its money in close quarters. Still, once you factor the YF-23 stealth capabilities and versatility, the Takuma Kazuchi's left eating the dust. I want to see one of these things! Dang it! Okay. Request, again, because I really don't want to accidentally stumble into some spoilers. But it wouldn't be a spoiler if somebody who happens to be watching this could quickly, get a clean picture of a Black Widow 2 in case it doesn't show one to me in, like, the game, and just post it to the Discord and the Muv-Luv channel. that would be really nice. Again, like it can't just be a link because it's too easy on a wiki page to absolutely accidentally see something. But if you could just put a picture and post it on there, that would be really nice. Because I don't know. Again, just raw Googling it would not be a wise decision either. If I want to make absolutely sure I keep myself as like far away from spoilers as possible. But I really want to see what this design looks like. Gosh darn, I have a hunch this Shiranui Second is about to become a freaking monster. I mean, that's kind of a leap, but fair. I can see it happening, yeah. Since both machines would have stealth capabilities, we'd just need to get up close undetected. Provided we could, our superior dogfighting capabilities would give us an edge, though that's assuming the fight is taking place under some very specific conditions.
なるほど。じゃあそれは、ビエルクト戦にも言えることだよな。しかもあっちは、ステルス機じゃないし。
それはどうかな。レーダーに耐えるほど距離を稼げるかどうかが疑問だし、近接戦闘能力は向こうのが上だし。
We won't know if they are cut above the Shiranui unless we give them an all-new, all-improved Shiranui Second to spin.
よろしいですか?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
はい、どうぞ。
ステルス性ってベータには通用しませんよね。最前線である日本で運用する戦術機にどうしてそれが必要なんですか?
Yeah, she's definitely the practical-minded one.
だからこそ私の提案は開発計画からオミットされていたのですよ。実際この最終強化モジュールの製造予算はボーニングが持っています。追加提案としてね。それに真のステルス能力は機体形状だけでは成立しません。防振、防音、排熱対策、アクティブステルスを成立させる各種電子装置などが占める割合がはるかに高いのです。
Yeah.
先ほども言いましたが、この形状はあくまで空力制御と近接戦を重視したもの。そのあたりを混同しないでくださいね。
はい、わかりました。
She didn't like that
ありがとう
answer.
ございました。
He's like, he gave a very political answer to be fair, but I mean, again, you gotta remember, we're working with people who are looking at a, like, alternative 5 angle. Even a lot of people in Japan are saying that. So yeah, even though the UN would be like, it's pretty clear the majority of the UN is like, alternative 5, bad idea. They're with Yuko Sensei in that regard. But, like, they have to work the sides and the angles, and so being able to provide it a option that says like, hey, Shiranui Second can be made into a fantastic beta fighting machine and a fantastic TSF fighting machine. I mean, it's kind of like a no loss argument there.
さて、この94セカンドフェーズ3ですが、すでに乾燥用の電子機器や最終強化モジュールは完成しています。
Yeah.
組み立てにかかる時間も大したことはないでしょう。皆さん、急ピッチで仕上げて、周りの国々の度肝を抜いてやってください。
Like, it's ironic too because the Soviets asked for a delay in the testing, we can extend that delay if we need to. Because that won't take much argument. Because we said, hey, you guys asked for a delay. We can have a little more time. We gotta get these. We gotta get this tune-ups going. Plus, you're clearly tuning up your machines.
ただし、乾燥するのはブリッジス少尉の1番機のみとします。2番機は性能比較試験用に残す。
It makes sense, but I feel bad for Teresa.
安心してください、学んだる少尉。フェーズ3、2番機は予備部品から新規に組み上げる予定ですので、
It'll happen.
少々時間をいただくことにはなりますが。
まあ、わかったよ。
That's funny. So, Heinemann had all his ducks in a row all along. Even if Japan had pulled the plug on the project, he would have upgraded the Shiranui Second anyway.
それにしても隊長、比較試験中にこんなことしてソ連怒りませんかね。
無論最終的に伝達はする。だがソ連側に何か言いたいことがあるなら、それは政府間で協議すべき問題だ。
Yeah, I mean, like...
我々の責務は計画の推進。それを果たすのみだ。
I mean, he's got a point. Like I said, it's like this idea that they asked for the postponement, and they're obviously going to be like making tweaks to their proposals. Now, fully revamping in the middle of a comparison test might ruffle some feathers, but like, what are they going to really say at this point? They've already had to ask for a concession. They don't have as much wiggle room anymore.
了解。日本もいろいろ大変っすね。高村中尉。
いや、現時点では XFJ 計画のみが日本政府に正式承認された次期戦術機開発計画だ。ソ連の都合を寸借する必要などない。
That's right.
なおこの改修は極秘に進める。情報の取り扱いには厳重に注意せよ。この後、各セクションごとにミーティングがある。時間と場所を伝達するぞ。
Oh, interesting. So we have to really not talk about it with anybody. I wonder if that's going to pose an issue with Kriska. Like, if she's going to, like, be upset if she detects that we're keeping things from her, even though, like, we have to. I doubt it, though, because she understands the necessity of secrecy. So the Shiranui Second Phase 3 is modeled after the Black Widow 2, and we have its lead designer on board. Yeah, now I remember. If these are the machine's final specifications, yeah, it all makes sense in hindsight. That wasn't a Shiranui. It was a Black Widow 2 with its armor stripped out. That also explains why Colonel Hartwig was acting so coy. But why did they want Vincent and I to see that? Did Yuuya know that that was a Black Widow 2 all along? Or did Heinemann keep her in the dark too? Well, doesn't really matter. I should be happy I got my way in the end, and that couldn't have happened if she didn't pass along my report to Heinemann. So thank you, Yuuya. I promise I'll live up to your expectations. Oh, man. The poor guy. Lieutenant Takamura.
ブリティッシュ少尉。どうした?
Oh, it's real formal now. Nothing much. Just wanted to say thanks. To be honest, I never imagined you'd agree with my request so readily.
そうか。嬉しそうだな。
Heck yeah, I am, and for good reason. Did you know this is the first time in all these months we've been working together that one of my requests has turned out so well?
そうか。ならばあの機体でベールクトに勝る結果を出してくれ。頼んだぞ。
Leave it to me.
期待している。なんだ？何かまだ。
Well, haven't you been pushing yourself a little bit too much on this one?
いや、そんなことはないが。
Heinemann said this part was originally going to be omitted from the development plan, didn't he? So I was thinking, you're not just doing this for me, are you? I mean, it's none of my business, but the darn thing's almost a carbon copy of the Black Widow 2. Must have been a lot of work to get everything in place. I'm sure Heinemann will be just fine, but you're still recovering, so I can't help but worry about you.
何も問題はない。変に気にしなくていい。とにかく、機体の能力を引き出すことだけを考えてくれれば、それでいいんだ。
Oh man. Well, if you say so, I just wanted to say I really appreciate all you've done for me. Not like you'd adopt my proposal in the end, but you see where I'm going with this, right?
ああ、そうだな。だが、結果が同じだと思えるなら、
I'm actually.
それでいいじゃないか。
This is a very happy, chill vibe. I'm feeling it. Yeah, totally. She still seems kind of down. Oh, you don't even know, buddy. I heard she crashed for the entire day yesterday. Must have been overworking herself because something crazy. Oh, yeah. Are you free this evening?
あ、そうだな。調整は聞くが、なんだ?
No, now that it's really weird and creepy, I'm totally asking you on a date. That's the truth. No, nothing serious. Just thought we could have dinner together, you know? The way to say thanks. We haven't celebrated your return yet, so tonight would be my treat. What do you say? It's literally, it's like, just as she's learned how awful an idea this actually would be. Now he's suddenly, I'm just jolly on the spot. Let's go out to dinner. My treat. Let's go on a date. You and me. She's gonna be like, oh, my heart wants it, but it's so wrong.
Oh.
There's tags up for this. What's up? She's like, fetch me. Do I tell him? Oh, I see. You're still feeling a bit weak, right? Better take a rain check in that.
以前
What?
以前私の作った肉じゃがを美味しいと言ってくれたことがあったな。
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
今度完成版を食べてみたいと。
Oh. Yeah, I totally did.
食べてみないか？
What?
今日食べてみないか？
Man, that'd be great, but if I let you cook, then it wouldn't be my treat.
久しぶりに食べたくなって今日作ろうと思っていたんだ。艦長じゃないのでさすがに私たちの分くらいしか作れないのだが、もしそれでもよければ。
Wonder where she's going with this. Like, is she following whim to her heart? Like, even if her mind and the logic after the fact is going to be like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm insane. Like, this is crazy. I can't be following this through. But is it like, in the moment, she just can't help herself to kind of have her feelings? Because, like, that's the thing. Is like, just because you know something's now, like, is wrong, you know that there's something very, like, unhealthy about feelings, doesn't mean that they just go away. So I'm not going to judge her too harshly for this, but I'm curious what her angle is. Like, is she trying to, like, set it up to be like, hey, you know how this reminds you of your mom? There's a reason for that. Like, is she going to try and explain it? Or is she just following her heart and just floundering? I'm going to guess it's the latter, but I'm hoping it's the former. I feel like she needs to tell him. Well, if you insist, just name the time and place.
今から
Oh, fetch
今から
me.
材料買いに行こう。リルフォートに。
What? Okay. Immediately. Okay, sure. Guess I can help you carry bags at least.
では30分後に正門前で待ち合わせだ。いいな？わかったな。
Okay. Yes, Crystal. Front gate, 30 minutes. Man, you're awfully excited about this.
興奮などしていない。とにかく約束したからな。
Sure thing, boss. She's practically jumping up and down with excitement. Well, it seems like she's cheered up, so all's well that ends well. I better go get ready. Oh, this is gonna be a nightmare. This is gonna be a nightmare. It's gonna be really cute, but it's also gonna like have that undertone of just wrongness. What's up? Something on your mind?
いや、人の意志というものは本当に素晴らしいと思ってな。
Why is it so painful to understand subtext when the characters don't? It hurts my soul. What do you mean?
あの惨事からたった20日ほどで街をここまで復興させてしまうとは。
That's actually true. Like, it was like a crater. It was a crater not that long ago, and now we're just here and it looks relatively normal? Yeah.
苦しみも悲しみも乗り越え、日常を取り戻すため、明日へ進むため、力強く懸命に歩み続ける。
We've never seen her in this outfit before. It's interesting. Very, very, very fashion forward. Holy cow. Like, it looks great. It's just kind of took me by surprise. Thought we'd seen all the sprites.
人とは強いものなのだな。
Overcome sorrow and hardship, huh? Well, I can really respect that sort of mindset. Not something I could do myself. Not before I came here, at least. Took me forever to make peace with my lot in life. Just lashing out the world, huge chip on my shoulder. I've been looking back lately, and man, that was a piece of work, what?
そうだな。傍から見ている分際で乗り越えたなどと、随分と傲慢な物言いをしてしまった。
There's that subtext again. Sad Yui. Sad Yui. God, a lot of good stills to take, but it's like the horror within.
ありのままを受け入れ、前に進まざるを得ない、ということなのかもしれないな。
Yeah.
ところで。
Up. What?
何か 私に言うことはないのか？
What about your outfit? What?
その、いつもと比べて違うところや変化のようなものに対して何か思うところはないのか？
Okay, so it looks like we still are riding the crazy train of like, she might just go follow her heart despite all the facts that we know. I guess? you suck.
せめて、ダメならダメで何かリアクションがないといたたまれないんだ。
You just gotta just take it in sometimes. Oh, yeah, now that you mention it. She's like, why did I have to mention it? You're wearing your civvies for a change, huh?
そうだ。悪いか。
Oh my gosh. That's not quite what I'd say. Not in those words.
今日食材を調達する場所に軍曹では行きにくいんだ。仕方がないだろう。
You don't have to defend that you're wearing normal clothing. Yui's so Yui. Oh my gosh. Dude, there's no need to get mad. She's not mad, she's embarrassed. Okay, you win. I'll confess, alright? Oh. I've never seen you in anything except your uniform before, so I was just too surprised to offer any wisecracks. See, this is what I'm talking about. Once you miss the right moment, it's too late to say anything, or you end up looking like a tryhard.
その、では、似合ってないと思っている。
She's still fishing for that compliment. What? No! I mean, you look very you in your uniform, but there's nothing wrong with the way you look now.
では、一緒に歩くのが恥ずかしい、などと思っているのでは。
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is getting out of hand. Okay, come on. Have some confidence for a change. Even Kriska would laugh at you if she heard you say that. She doesn't even know what the concept of makeup or fashion, but you see her going around worrying about what other people think?
何?
Well, you can't picture Kriska busting her gut laughing at you, but you get the idea. Good. Great job. Beyond this, like, essentially a date, and the first thing you do when she's kind of like, she just wants you to say that she looks nice. That's all she wants, and you immediately bring up another girl that's direct competition that you're too dense to recognize, but she's fully recognized. And so, of course, God, man, without the weirdness that this situation already entails, it's already the worst date I think we've ever seen.
そこではない。化粧がどうこうとか、どうして知っているんだ?
Oh, yeah, and of course. Huh?
もしや、ビアチェノは少尉に名前で呼ぶように言ったりしたことと関係あるのではないか?
You know, for a couple people who are like fundamental geniuses when it comes to piloting giant mech suits and fighting in wars and developing weapons of war, they are horrifically dense people at dating. Back up a bit. I don't think I've mentioned that to you. Uh-oh. So, maybe you're fixed on that because it's a Japanese thing or just one of your quirks, but I swear we've been over this.
何をだ?
In America, calling someone by their first name doesn't mean we're particularly close or have some special significance or whatever. It's like, yeah, like, no, it's super, in fact, actually, it's always weird to ask somebody to not call you by the first name. And in fact, I guess the threshold for typically in America, if you wanted to make a distinction in a name calling, it would be if you use your normal name, like your birth given name, with your friends and with your classmates and with like pretty much everyone who knows you more than just like in a professional way. Because professionalism, you'd always go with Mr., Mrs., or Doctor, or, you know, like, and go by the last name with like some kind of, oh gosh, like I know there's a word for those words, whatever the signifier is, like kind of what your status monochrome is. But you go to your given name with your friends, acquaintances, and people whom you associate with in any kind of more personal way. But then if you then have a kind of another layer where usually if you have a more intimate type of relationship or a familiar type relationship, then you can go into nicknames. But that's the thing, is like you don't necessarily like in America, like there's no pretext to say like, oh, you give a nickname to somebody whom you're particularly close with. But you tend to have a nickname for people with whom you're particularly close with. But then that can be reversed, because if you don't like or maybe you don't feel comfortable going by your first name, you can offer up a nickname for other people to know you, and then your real name would become your more intimate name. But that's because it's a flip of the script, not because it has anything to do with the traditional Japanese stuff, which is... And I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir mostly here, but I do know that some of you are not American, or even like American/Canadian, like North American. I've talked to people who are watching the channel, like from the Philippines, from Japan itself, from Russia, from South America. Like we do have some very broad like audience members here. So like I'm just kind of reporting on my experience. Everyone called me Yuuya in the US Army. I mean everyone. You remember Leon, right? He called me that, and that dude wouldn't pass on me if I was on fire. Besides, Inya's been calling me Yuuya since day one. Same with Stella and Teresa. Why are you always bringing up Kriska, man? I'm so confused. Yes, you are. We went out to celebrate Inya's recovery the other day. That's when I learned she had no idea about fashion or makeup. I was thinking about getting Inya a present, but since the two of them are always together, I figured it'd be bad luck not to get Kriska a little something too, so I asked her what she wanted, and that's how the whole makeup thing came up. There's a lot of bullcrap going on between our countries right now, but we fought side by side with them when the chips were down. You figure it's only fair to call them war buddies, you know? She's like, uh-huh. She's like, oh, well maybe I shouldn't feel so jealous. We can't stand on formalities with them forever. Even a complete a-hole like me managed to find a place where I belong here. Why not them too?
Yuuya.
She's like, you have no idea. He's so dumb. He's so dumb. Hey, Yui. She's so pleased. Look at her happy. She's like, oh, thank goodness. She's like relieved that he's just like, oh, so she's just a war buddy. Okay, so I've got to have some points on war buddy, right? Like, I got to be more than that. Tell me if there's anything you want. I was thinking of buying something as well as a welcome back present. That's actually why I came shopping with you.
Oh.
So yeah, tell me if something catches your eye. What's the matter?
Yeah, 気にしなくていい。もう、私が気にすべきことではない。
You lost me again.
ああ、すまない。ここ最近、私なりに思うところがあってな。気を抜くと、すぐそのことを考えてしまうんだ。
Yeah, well, good. Kinda needs to. You've got some very critical information. Like death-defying, like, not death-defying, what am I talking about? Like, life or death levels of information that you need to tell him, like, immediately. I wouldn't worry about it so much. You're still recovering. There's a whole lot on your plate. Shh, understatement. But if you ever want to talk, feel free to reach out to me, all right? I'll always be there for you. Oh. She's like, oh gosh. Least I could do for a war buddy. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, now she's a war buddy too. She's like, oh my gosh. Lead developer of a joint international project isn't secure by any stretch of the imagination. And on top of her official duties, Yui has to deal with her command roles and actual TSF battles and aftermath of an attempt on her life, and the need to readjust the project's timeline the moment she set foot back on base. Yeah, I understand she's in a difficult position and she's a complete type A personality, but still, it's amazing she doesn't collapse from the stress alone. That's why I want to help her out any way I can, even if I can only make her life a little bit easier. And yet, you make it so much worse. Exactly. And even with this hint, he'll be like, oh, what? Whoosh? Huh? Oh. Oh. What was that?
Yeah. ありがとう、ゆうや。回帰祝いも相談も、今はその気持ちだけで十分だ。
Yeah. Well, if you say so. You can't force these sorts of things. You will talk when she's ready to do so. I'll be ready to lend her an ear when that happens. Oh, man.
食材の調達を急ごう。せわしなく追い立てられながら作るのは味気ないからな。
Oh, right. You need to let it simmer for a while or something about the pepper bringing out the flavor, was it? Ooh, reminds me of borscht. Like, that's my family's, like, traditional recipe. I mentioned that before, but that's the thing. It's like, you need to put the peppercorns in, and they have to stew for a while because you don't want to eat peppercorns. Peppercorns are horrifically overpowerful spice, but when you're making, especially when you have to make a batch. Like, she's making a small batch, but I'm guessing that her dish is very similar to a traditional borscht dish, which is something you build almost in like a cauldron, something massive, and you have all the peppercorns sitting in the bottom with other spices that, flavors the whole broth, but you'd never scoop it out and eat that part.
いや、単に食材を煮込むのではなく、胡椒を煮汁になじませるのに手間がかかるんだ。一度軽く煮た後。
Sorry, I thought we were in a hurry. This isn't the time for Chef Takamura's impromptu cooking lesson.
Soだな.
Well, that's the thing, though. I think that's actually what her her non-ulterior genuine motive is. Like, she feels like she should teach him the recipe. Like, it's obviously means a lot to him, and it's a family recipe, like, legitimately, and so she probably wants him to be able to, like, at least understand how it's made, and maybe they can do it together enough that he could learn it himself. That's a very sweet sentimentality. Oh my gosh.
この人参と玉ねぎ、じゃがいもは。
Jeez, what a freaking date picture this is. Okay, now it's gonna seem cruel, but we're gonna end here. It's not the longest episode I've done, but I have a feeling like if they're going to actually showcase the date, I imagine that we're going to see not only the date, but the eating and, like, maybe some follow-up, potentially the actual confrontation of their, like, of the issues. So we're going to stop here so we can give that our full attention and support and love next week. Now, I could be wrong, and maybe this is a 5-minute sequence and we'll roll right into the next scenes. I don't know. It's just been long enough now. I don't want to go any further. This is a great place for us to end today's episode. And, yeah, I think it'll be... Poor Yuuya. Gotta feel for the man, don't ya? But all in all, I still am excited to see where the story goes from here. Thank you so much for joining me today, for being a part of the channel, for supporting me, especially the patrons and members, literally making it so that I can invest in, like, getting new equipment, to getting art procured for the channel, and ultimately just kind of making it so that, like, being dedicated and trying to make content like this is something I can meaningfully do. It means a lot to me, and it's been a lifesaver through all the times I've been sick and the stuff that's been going on in real life. It's just really nice to be able to share these good stories with you all. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, good start to your week, and until next video watching me, I'll see me next. I'll see you there.